Right, guys, welcome back to the Stacked Craic podcast. We're back again for our kind of weekly, bi-week, bi-monthly catch-up with Connor and myself. So quite a lot to talk about today, actually. We haven't got chatting in a couple of weeks, and I know there's a lot going on as we kind of, so we've transitioned into your off-season due to your big holiday. Good suntan about you, a bit of red glow.
Yeah, a bit of Milan and tan, a bit of red hue now. Yeah, it's the MT2. I think that's the only fucking place I got a colour as my face.
That's the Irishest thing ever, like just full redhead, red cheeks and
I
all.
look like as well someone got a brush and splattered little fucking like brown paint spots on me because I always just get freckles rather than going and fucking
I didn't
brown.
get that so much with the MT2, was it? That was the
Yeah,
I was using that prior to the show. Like definitely helped bring out a better
oh,
color. But then
it
you're like
does.
going how brown, you just want to get brown as hell, like with it
I
then.
know, I know. Yeah, I just threw it on more so because I fucking burn. I didn't used to burn when I was a kid, but not, I think the bigger I got, the less. When I went on holidays, I used to be always in the shade. So the longer I did that, then I just get scalded. So I actually didn't have to wear sun cream. I think I put a bit of sun cream on my arms when I was golfing one of the days. But other than that, I didn't put on a screed of sun cream and I was grand. Like,
Yeah, it looked good, looked like you chilled out, enjoyed, but like obviously training still and like I mean I'm gonna sort of share both where we're at, kind of their pictures, I think, after a little bit. But you
yeah.
come in like condition looks excellent. I think we always have this fear like we can fucking let this go, so like it's gonna go away. But it's like condition looks really good. Like they're still looking a great spot.
Yeah, obviously you soften up a little bit as well. And I was in two minds kind of like halfway through the holiday. As I took out Retta as well, I didn't actually kind of really mention it on my stories, but I took out Retta it was a week before, and I didn't realize there's a thing called Rettaria. I don't know if you knew that,
I haven't tried
but
it yet.
yeah, but the thing is, I had the first burger off plan meal I had. I got this garlic fucking mayo, like, and I wouldn't normally have garlic mayo, but I had it. It was fucking unreal, but it was so garlicky. And you know yourself, garlic can sometimes play havoc if you add something in like that as well that you haven't really had. Now, I did have a little bit of garlic here and there on my minced beef, but like a very little small bit. But this thing was doused in garlic, and the burger mince was a little bit pink, like. But that's kind of the way you mostly get burgers over there. But I didn't think much about it. And for a few days after, I had a little bit of fucking diarrhea, and then I was chatting to someone, and they mentioned that they actually seen I was going to do the burger challenge, and they were like, "Are you sure you
Yeah.
want to do this with the with the Retta there, like, or if you're after taking out?" Because he said basically that he was like fucking for a week straight with diarrhea. I only had it for like a little bit, and I think it was the garlic. I could feel it repeating on myself. So I just kind of for the first few days, I was just very mindful of what I ate. I just got back to my own foods. I even pulled down the carbs a little bit. But like other than that, I was having an off-plan meal every day, and like some days I'd be just looking at the diet that Al had for me, and then I'd be just like, "Ah, I'm hungry. I'll have an extra 50 gram of oats," or
Yeah.
because you know yourself that like I didn't really have cravings for shift. I don't think I even had. I think I had one ice cream and a crepe one of the nights, but like normally I would be a fucking whore for having ice cream, like, but I didn't even wasn't even because I just love putting my bowl of rice pudding or cream of rice in the fridge now with the berries, and it's like a dessert anyway, you know.
Yeah. No, I agree. Like, I don't know why that is either, because in the past, and again, I'd been going, oh, fuck, I was like that, where it hasn't really felt like that this time around. And I
No,
don't know, I honestly don't know why. It was just a maturity thing. I like my meals
yeah,
and I like having more of them. And I know, like, the thing is, you know, it's like once the digestion starts playing havoc, you're going, fuck me.
yeah.
You struggle then, do you know what I mean? In your way, it's the last thing that we feeling is bloated and by the
I've
bowl.
been there, done that so many times, like, and it's amazing as well how quick you can like fuck up your rebound in a few days. And
Yeah.
going on holiday post show is a great thing in one way, but if you're not of that maturity, like I've done that before, and I've blown up 7, 8, 9 kg in a week, like, and you feel great in the gym getting them pumps, but next thing you come back, and next thing you see the water. The next thing you think, oh, that's not water now, that's fat. And the next thing before you know it, you're not in a great point. Your appetite is down a little bit. Insulin sensitivity is down a little bit. So I think the more you get conscious of that, and also like I remember as well when I was a car in Gran Canaria about 3 years ago, I was just like, oh, that we had this. We're actually going back to the same hotel now in 2 weeks' time, but the breakfast there was unreal. And I used to bring down my own bowl because on the way in the hotel you get the shitty little bowls
You know
and
what
the
you need?
glasses for orange juice. So I used to bring down a shaker and fill it up with orange juice and have my big fucking bowl, and had these like this mixed oats, and you put raisins and everything in it. But I was gorging on the thing, still obviously training, but next thing the weight just shot up of one day out of nowhere because I was brought my scales with me to keep an eye on it, and then the lower back bumps. I couldn't literally walk like down the steps, and we were going like down to the restaurant that night, and I'd have to sit down on the wall because my lower back pumps, and it's just shit like that that you look back, you realize it's not worth it. Like, you know what I mean?
It's not like I feel like I've controlled it fairly well, but like obviously now I've started back on. Like I had no back pumps, nothing during that
Yeah,
like quote unquote we'll call it a health phase. But like see now at reintroducing the cycle, like fucking like
yeah, straight away.
every 2 minutes, like everything just feels like super tight, nearly feels inflamed everything. Do you know what I mean? I'm going like what the training program I thought yes working great, on cycle. Now I'm like, fuck, maybe not. Like there's so many few things need tweaked about here, like or
Yeah,
looked at the cycle kind of thing because back pumps are mental. Like sitting here, I'm leg up, leg down.
leg up,
You know, it's
and I don't know if you see my story last night. I actually did my first hot yoga session last night, and that's something someone advised to me. A guy that used to live in Ireland, Cornelius Park, and he actually is a coach. He coaches a lot of pros in America. You might know of him.
yeah.
Very smart guy, but he just gave me some feedback after the shows, like, and says, like, don't be doubting yourself. You can go far here. But he says one thing I noticed from your pictures is, and you're posing on stage in your videos is, he says your hips are locked up, and I was like, how the fuck does he know that? Because I do a lot of stretching, but the last few weeks as tiredness crept in and I was just busy, I wasn't stretching as much, and then the lack of sleep, obviously your muscles tighten, and my hips got so tight, like I didn't feel as comfortable in my posing. And he also was noticing about the stretch marks on my chest, and he said, like, that's great, he says, and it shows that your chest is growing, but he actually puts it down. He says, I know you think you have narrow clavicles, but he says, I feel that your lats are big, but you're not able to show them from the front, because he says he reckons all my shoulders are bound up. Um, and he advised, and because I actually bought a few stretching books only recently anyway, so it's funny he kind of reached out to me, and then he says, I advise for you to start going to hot yoga sessions now and getting more in tune with your body, your breathing again. And he says you'll be able to transform your physique even more with just them tweaks. He said you won't believe it if you give it a good run. So I was like 100% I'm going to try this now, and I know, like you said, I've no lower back pumps at the minute, none of that. Because I kept things tight. But as soon as you go back and cycle, as soon as then you have stretching as routine and prep, and you go into the off season, it's going to be like the first thing you kind of throw away in your day. You'd rather get an extra hour in bed, and that's kind of when I used to do my stretching in the morning. So I'm going to try and keep on top of that now, because that will also help with them. Because I feel like when you stop that, and next thing the weight's creeping up, GH is up, there's a bit more salt in the diet, next thing, boom, you're just fucking so locked. Because obviously, like, even train your quads now, you can probably feel like your rec fem, your legs are staying fuller now all day, like shit, you know?
Which is a nice feeling, but at the same time, great
Yeah,
post workout photo, awful for the rest of life. You
yeah,
know,
100%.
so yeah, I need to start playing a bit more with the stretching side of things too, as you say. Like you're go during prep, it didn't feel tight at all. Like nothing,
No,
it's not
no,
a bit. And then you're like, oh, this is off season again. Like you sort of forget grass is always greener. You're like, fuck,
yeah.
this is the real part of bodybuilding. Where it is a tight out stretch, but it's been enjoyable. You know, like the gym performance numbers, seeing that coming back, seeing that fullness. You know, and keeping a little bit of condition too with
And
it.
you're very, like, yeah, like you, so I was obviously messing with you because, like, between you and me, I got home after the holiday and I was kind of like, PCA. Obviously, I heard then some of the front runners were
Aye,
out. And I was kind of thinking, will I, won't I? And then I'm like, I'm only doing it for the wrong reasons then. And then it's like the stress of getting organized for the weekend. And, I'm kind of like, if I was doing it, I should be doing it. I shouldn't be doing it because, say, the Brown Panda or what's
yeah,
his name, intensity coaching. And I know there's probably going to be, if that Adrian guy from the North's there, there's Cam Wright, there's guys that are in condition now. And technically, I softened up for 2 weeks. My weight didn't change much, but yourself, it's a different look. And then we'd have to manipulate things and throw back in some Winstrol and Clen, trying. And I'm like, I don't want to ruin my health phase. I just want to get big now, kind of way. So I was like, fuck it, no. So I had a chat with Al anyway, because it was kind of playing in my mind for 24 hours.
yeah.
But I nearly wanted him to say, no, Connor, you're not doing it. But he was kind of saying, this is doable. You won't be 100%, but you'll be about 90, 95. And then I'm like, fuck, why didn't he just say no? Like, kind
Yeah.
of way.
No, mate, Wardy was the same with me. I was in Tenerife like 4 weeks. So that obviously the last time we talked. He's like,
Yeah,
yeah, like we're still good here, but like I look at this now and I'm like, this is what I would see as guest posing condition.
yeah, Yeah.
comparatively to what was brought. Like, why do it? There's another year. It's back in the bodybuilding. It's just different. You need to let go of it at some point.
You get that excitement, and obviously then you think, oh, maybe there's a chance here of sneaking a win or something like that. But yeah, it's I don't do this, and the more I was saying, I was like, we kind of have to pull food down this week. You can still add in your mozzie, and I'm kind of like, he says we're gonna have to train legs tomorrow and then back off, and I'm kind of like, no, I want to start my new program, so. Can we just start my new program and see where I am on Saturday, kind of thing? I kind of because then I was thinking like, no, sure, I'm only saying that because I just want to get growing now. So I was like, fuck this, like I kind of
I think it's against what we kind of stand for to some point.
yeah,
Early, I
yeah.
don't think, not like here. I'm not winning anything on anybody's at it. Like, do you know what I mean? But it's like that. Fucking, I enjoy.
You're putting yourself down there, considering where you got compared to Adrian. But obviously, if these guys, like you're saying, are continuing on their diet and everything, it's unfair now because I was kind of like, this be kind of a bit funny that everyone see me eating burgers and pizza and come back and get on stage, like you know what I mean. But it's like, nah, the conditions not going to be there, like you know what I mean. So
You look at the photos and go, fuck.
yeah,
Even if you want it, as you say, it's kind of like, no, it's not meant to win because I think that it was surprising. Like, obviously, you're going, oh, right, Brown Panda's dropped out. He looked good, for all intents and purposes. And then Jordan, obviously, like another front runner with conditioning and stuff. So, it's an interesting show. Like, I mean, I feel there's a pro card there up for grabs. Not to say that guys aren't coming in good. Like, I know
no,
Cam Wright
no.
looks very, very good. There's a few, Adrian, if he, if I think he's doing it in the north.
If he's doing it, then yeah, like you'd expect him to walk it. To be honest, like, but you don't know who's going to show up exactly, and it's not fair as well. That's what I was saying. It's kind of a bit disrespectful in a way because you think you might sneak it, but all these guys are putting all the work and effort in as well, and so it was definitely the right call. And obviously, I'm actually setting up my home gym the weekend, so I don't think I'm actually going up to Galway. Unless things change, I'm going to see how I get on Saturday. But you're heading up, you're doing some interviews there, yeah?
I've been interviews. It's something I pushed for a while. I nearly like I said I was invited to do them as fucking. I was tagging them in socials and flat out. But
Yeah.
it's a good thing. I obviously I enjoy being around. I know a lot of the athletes too, and I want it to be like I want us to have the same sort of platform in terms of what they have in the mainland, and that's been the goal of a lot of this stuff. So
Yeah.
I look forward to that side of things too, and it gives people a chance and looks like the mainland and bring a wee bit of like Irishism to it rather than maybe being the. Well, because that's to be honest, like that's what some of them are like.
Yeah. So tell me this: it's going to be the PCA are going to be posting you're doing the interviews for the PCA on their channel.
That's
Savage, deadly. Yeah.
looking
So
forward
that
to
could be that could open doors then for like this could be the start of it now with yourself doing that, which is
that.
good.
I like the media stuff, like I do like obviously I love the coaching and the bodybuilding, but I just love being around the scene corners, like and
Yeah.
to me it's like networking with people. Like that's the bit I've enjoyed the most out of my whole bodybuilding experience, to be honest. So had to go up and get a shirt. It's fucking like maybe you're a bit more used to the formal attire than I am. Like, see, are you was I was fucking trying to get a shirt on. I was like, how does this not fit me now? I was the same weight as this. And then
I know.
panicking, does my arse look big enough? Is this tight? Is it be tan and sweat all over it?
I know exactly. The white shirt, yeah.
Aye.
Yeah.
I'm a hugger. I'm a touchy man. Like,
and you know people as well. It's not like you know what I mean. So like, you're going to be lads. So you're going to have big handprints now on your back and everything.
No, I'm looking forward to it. But I'm interested to seeing it, as you say, in terms of who'll be there. I think it'll be one of those ones you're going, could it have took him? Could it? Know what we're like. So it'll be nice to see it. But mate, there's quite a few questions in because obviously what I've been watching your vlogs flat out now. Like I'm really enjoying them. I'm trying to do a few daily vlogs myself.
Yeah, I see that.
The amount of effort and energy goes into that because you're having to think, fuck, I better film this.
I know you're halfway through a meeting, you're like, oh fuck, I didn't record that or something. You know what I mean? There's my full day of eating fucked up now.
I nearly did go back and find a video of the time I've taken a picture of that beforehand. But I see your new training setup. Yeah, I love talking about the training side of things. I know what it is, simple, basic, but it's interesting to see your thoughts on it. I think Cam Wright, shout out to him, he does look great at the minute as well. He really does.
He does, looks very good. Like, and his conditions coming now, and like he's well put together, and he's kind of at a nice height, and he's got some nice roundness to his physique. So he will be a big threat now as well to even Adrian now. So because we know Adrian is big and has the shape, but you've obviously pushed him before because sometimes he can come in a little bit off, which some bigger guys can. I know what that's like as well. You're trying to get that balance of fullness and condition, but yeah, Cam should do very well now to begin.
He was quite interested in seeing about your training split. Obviously, there's a couple of AM, PM, Jay Cutler style things going on.
Yeah.
And it's good to see you back under a Smith machine. I think you said to me that was the first time since the injury. You're under that.
Yes.
For one, under the bar again.
Yeah, it's obviously I've been doing some squats and stuff recently, safety bar, but that was the first time like literally doing normal squats now under the Smith, and it's the same version one Cybex that I have in my garage at home that I'm setting up now the weekend that it kind of happened on as well. So yeah, kind of like it, because it's obviously people are like, oh, how do you do that? How do you get back underneath that? It's kind of like, well, this time I had the safeties on. So that's a good start. And then also it's like a weird, I don't know, thing that I'm just like, it's nearly like, because everyone's like, oh, if that was me, I'd probably get rid of that Smith machine. I won't be able to look at it anymore. But I have a weird attachment to it because Alan wanted to get one for the gym and he has one now, but he wanted to buy my one off me. He's literally offered me like fucking $4 or $5 for it. And I was like, there is no price that will take that Cybex off me. I said, I am fucking running that into the ground and getting that back up, and I'm gonna maybe one day squat 5 or 6 plates on it. So we'll see what happens.
What is the split then? Because you had quads, chest, arms. You want to talk through it a wee bit?
Yeah, so Monday is quads and push, kind of quads and delts, and then I'm back in for arms in the evening. And so the main priority of this split really is one, I said to Al, I want to, obviously we've been trying to train legs heavy the last while again. And I noticed when I pushed up to 300 pounds the last time, every 3 weeks, I would need to take a few days off because you're just battered. And I also found like some of the heavy sets and the pendulum, even on like doing deadlifts and shit, just my CNS was fried. My aura was like fucking screaming at me. And I'm kind of like, I'm 35 now. I feel like, and also I need to be able to do shit. Like I remember training legs. We switched our training on a Saturday to the evening. I used to train legs on a Saturday morning. And obviously Saturday is my day. I need to do Karen as a list, the length of my arm of stuff I need to do at home. I could have to do bits and pieces. And I train quads in the morning and I am literally just useless. On the soul, lying, not even make this stuff, lying on a mat with the dogs and bits, like, you know what I mean? So I was like, right, we need to change this up. And I also feel like if we can hit more frequency with the quads, with more volume and higher rep sets, I'll be able to keep my joints fresher and then maybe be able to train them more frequently. So the big emphasis on this is training my quads 3 times per week and then also getting in just a solid arm session separate to the other ones twice per week on their own, one normal and then one blood flow restricted as well. So Monday morning, it's quads and push, and then I'm back in for arms, which only takes about 35, 40 minutes. And it's actually really nice. I add in calves there as well. You're going in, you're just like attacking in and out. And then Tuesday, I have a pull session, which was a little bit of hamstrings in that as well. Then I rest on Wednesday. And then this morning I had quads and delts, so just quads and shoulders, and then I'm back in for arms this evening. Tomorrow then I go to the gym in Allen's because the first 4 days of the week now, because I'm going to have my gym set up at home by the end of next week. I've equipment coming from Hill Fitness in the north, actually. You might have heard of them. So that's going to be set up. So I'm literally going to train 4 days at home and then do my Friday session and in the HQ where he is the new Mega Mass pull down now, Mega Mass T-bar. So that's kind of like full upper, but mostly chest and back. And then I go into the gym then and train with Alan on a Saturday and do a full lower session, which is mostly, and it's a bit of 50-50 with hamstrings and quads.
And what's the volume looking like, say, in the Monday session where you're doing a bit of quads and chest?
Yeah, so I'll actually just pull up that Monday session. I'm going to do a YouTube on this week, actually, just touching on it. So Monday, I have 3 sets leg extension, 10 to 15, and then the last set is 20 to 25 reps. Then I have the Smith machine squat, 2 sets, 15 to 20 reps, 4-second eccentric. Then I have a single leg, 45-degree leg press, 2 sets, 15 to 20 reps. Then I have 3 sets of single arm lateral cuff raise.
Right.
Then I have 2 sets on the incline Smith and 6 to 10, 10 to 15. Then I do military press in the Cybex Smith as well. And the same 6 to 10, 10 to 15. And then 3 sets, 15 to 20 of dumbbell flies. So
nice.
that's
There's decent amount of volume in it as well then, in terms
decent amount of volume,
yeah. No, it's
and obviously we'll manage that as we go along. Obviously we're gonna, and that's why I'm being smart even now and it's one thing I found before, like you feel strong after a show, even though at the minute I probably felt strong before because I let my weight jump up quicker before there was more water in the joints, but this time I'm still kind of leaner than I normally would, and I'm being smart, because I think if you can take progression on lighter loads, it gives you a lot more runway and scope across your off season, you know. And we can all get carried away. It's nice to grip it and rip it sometimes, but you know, it's finding that balance. And I think that's the one thing I'm focusing on now, is just setting proper baseline numbers and thinking about the eccentrics and the stretch and contraction, you know, that kind of way.
And I think that's the phase to do it in, isn't it? Really, it's like, you
Yeah,
know, coming out post show to try and do that. Like, I find myself, like, obviously, you know, I think we both have that similar love to want to, like you said, deadlifting
yeah,
last year again and grab it and rib it. I find myself coming post show going, "Oh, I feel good," and then I'm going right. Actually, hold on a minute here. This needs to step back, because, like yourself, there, I was like, right, I need to train these quads more frequently.
yeah,
Oh, my knees, and like, I need to come back and do a little bit more like you're doing, because I kind of found I was starting with the higher volume stuff, and I found my way slipping back into, right, big 6 repper, let's get at it here.
yes, I know.
Uh, so I've had to take down to one full quad day, one full hamstring day, and I'm just going to rebuild it to try and build in a wee bit more frequency again with it. But I've nearly had to
Yeah.
strip it back because the tendons are starting to say "fuck off" to me. To
Yeah,
then,
and all you have to do is like look at Jay Cutler now. Look
yeah,
how healthy he is. And you look back at his training, higher volume, high frequency compared to other guys, like obviously, and like from a size standpoint, you know, he was fucking huge as well. Like, you know what I mean? So there's loads of ways to skin a cat, and I think you have to be smarter as you get older, and then it kind of suits your lifestyle, and also that means rather than one big leg day a week, how about three? And you know yourself, sometimes it's all well and good being strong under a pendulum doing 6 day reps, but sometimes the back offset, or so you tell someone to do 12 to 15 reps with 60, 70% of that load, that's fucking
yeah.
gassy and harder. So even from a cardiovascular point of view, blood pressure, health, I think just joints, everything. And then I really think you can get more stimulus that way then as well, you know?
Well, I found there my legs, I, you know, changed my training up there on Monday. My legs, now obviously there's a novelty component to it, but my legs were way sore. My quads certainly were way sore
Yeah.
from that than they were from weeks of training, albeit this personal bias of enjoyment that I need to
Yeah.
try and go, right, well, you know, for these
Yeah.
few years, given what I want to do in bodybuilding, it's like maybe that enjoyment side of thing can slide a little bit in order for like progress. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think there is that, like, you know, that curving point different there if your general lifestyle, but if you're coming out hurt all the time, it was limiting, you know, it was starting to limit. So, and I knew that's the one thing I need. Like, obviously, everything needs up, but that to me, you know what it's like? You have a body part, you're like, fuck me, that is coming up. If I hear another
Yeah.
week or another
100%.
year going I'm like, fuck, and hell, I know. If
I
you
know.
set your quads up, you'd be a good bodybuilder. I'm like, I'm fucking trying.
Trying my hardest there. Yeah. So at least for you now, it's trying something new, because you can always go back actually after a few months, tape measure every week, be checking on your check-ins, and you'll see the difference, like, you know. That's why I feel like now, I feel like, you know, I think this is gonna, so I look back even when I had a good mix of both when I first started, and it was more just because you didn't have that much equipment in your gym, and you just be everyone be around on the leg day that day and doing mad drop sets, or
Yeah.
just like taking, and you realize then, fucking hell, I was like doing mad 20, 30, 40 rep sets, like, and that's how my legs kind of grew when I was younger. So I think like you're nearly mimicking that now with a little bit more, I suppose, because you have a better mind muscle connection and a bit more experience. I think you can get that balance, and that's where we might end up as well, actually changing one of them sessions. And even though my session on Saturday does have a few lower volume sets, so I'm kind of getting a little bit of both there, and then it's
Yes.
just allowing me hopefully to recover in time to be able to train then whatever 48 hours, 72 hours later.
Getting to see a big 300-pound corner run a bit again, you know, in the
I,
flesh. Like, I know I fancy posing beside that when we catch here.
Hopefully now. Well, look, obviously the last time I got up there, I was fat, like, but I needed to go up there, so it'll be interesting. And as much as I'm talking about weight and getting up to 300 pounds, it's more of a nearly a cool thing to say. I'm not rushing to get to that point. If I get there, I get there. It could be only 290 again, but it's about just getting better. But like I know, in order for me to fill out my frame more and get these legs up, I need to get up to that weight again. Like really, you know.
I mean, I want to just have a wee look here and see, because this is what now 2, 3 weeks post show. Like, it looks so fucking, like, I'd seen this video the other day, like, especially from that rear shot. It's like, it's fucking wacky how large it looks like.
Yeah, even I just
So
noticed how
good,
much
like,
my glutes have filled back out now as well.
aye.
Obviously, the lines are starting to disappear a little bit. But yeah, it was like fucking hell, and my sweep of my quads is a bit more visual from the back as well. Like, but
It's hard to
Yeah.
look at this and go, that's a stage physique, that's a fucking quality physique again. Do you know what it's
It's
like?
probably lean. It's probably leaner in some ways than what I was when I competed in Sweden or the RIBBF in 2023. Like, yeah, still like, you know what I mean. But obviously, there's the softness because Anavar, Winstraw, they're all gone now. You know what I mean.
Yeah. What weight's that Connor sitting at?
That was 247 that morning. I'm only 248 now this morning. I was actually 247.8.
So what does that look like for you then in terms of where's your foot at and stuff?
Food at the minute is 4,750 training day and 4,500 roughly rest day. And then on Saturdays on my main leg day, I do what I did at prep, pretty much my high day, which is about 6,500 calories.
Right. We're in similar amounts of food. That's my training day is
Yeah,
4-7 currently and 4-5 non-training day, which is
yeah,
because I'm fucking just touching on 100 kilo. That's 6-7 weeks
which
post.
is really good. Like, yeah,
So like yeah,
yeah, like even like look at your glutes even now. Like,
so I was saying they filled out. It's funny, like when you still look at the morning shots, like there's like I was like fucking fairly dry in points, and
yeah,
then
when you dry,
but it's been interesting. Like it's definitely been the best post show that like I've had ever.
yeah,
But just dialed in on things a lot more as well. But it's interesting
yeah,
to kind of see with it. So it's yeah.
yeah,
And
very
again,
fucking good, man.
Wednesday, when we getting blood work and all done, what does that look like in terms of coming
I
out?
need the roadmap. I'd say I'll be chatting with Al now this week because he was traveling. He was in Tunisia last week. So I'd say I got bloods taken, was it pretty much 8 days before the UK show.
Right.
And more so just to see that we need to do anything with our estrogen, which we had in a small bit of Rimidex going into peak week. But like all my blood markers are pretty good. Obviously, liver was skewed a little bit from, and my lipids were a little bit out, but actually not too bad compared to before. Like, so I'm going to know we're chatting with Al this weekend, but this is week 3. Like, I couldn't see myself going any. Potentially could be back on in 2 weeks' time, maybe 3 weeks' time, 6 weeks
Yeah.
max. I think, you know, I mean, given where everything was at, and I think, you know, maybe the Reta helped there as well. And like I look
100%.
back, yeah,
100%. You know, I'd vouch for that more from sorry not to cut you off, but I'd vouch
you're
from
grand.
a blood work perspective more so than I did appetite. Like I have it there and I'm still going right. I don't need it from appetite. I'm hungry, but I
No,
want to be hungry. But
yeah,
I'm keeping it in a milligram for a while because there's loads of it left there. But like my cholesterol markers literally doubled over the
yeah,
course of that prep. And I'm like,
yeah,
usually they're fucking in the ditches for me.
yeah. And you were doing 1 milligram per week, yeah,
I was doing 2 for the first 4 weeks there that I tried
yeah,
it. But I'm
yeah,
like, I don't really. And then I seen it come back. I was like, well, I'll try and run it a little bit longer and see where I'm at with it. I don't like the really idea of having it in me off season too much from like, because I know my appetite eventually will get to a point where I'm like,
yeah,
I need to feel hungry or try and feel hungry. So it was 2 milligrams a week. I was putting it in 3 times across the week, 3 times. But I was just very surprised with like the total cholesterol within range. HDL had doubled, LDL markers in a reasonable spot, like a reasonable spot as well.
yeah,
The only one for me. I'd done the video on it, but I think it was AST was slightly elevated. And it's one of those I'd said to myself, don't train the night before, don't train the day before. And I'm
yeah.
going to do a leg session at 6:30 at night. Do you know what I mean? Like, because then it was like, it kind of does skew a little bit. The rest of the liver and kidneys were in, but there was one marker out
Yeah,
there.
your ALT is always going to be nearly off then
Yeah.
from and your CK levels then as well.
But
Um,
they were actually in, which
they
is
were in, were they? Yeah, which is
high,
good.
and usually they're
Yeah,
thousands.
yeah,
So I was fairly happy with that. It was interesting. I was doing 250 tests during that time,
yeah.
but my testosterone levels were coming back at 90 nanomals. So
Fucking hell. Was that 500 milligram test? Are you sure you're not taking 2 shots
I
a week?
swear to God, and it was pharmaceutical test from
Fuck.
like hiding away.
That was what my testosterone was the week before I got my bloods, 90 nanomolar
How much?
in peak week. Yeah.
How much test were you on at that point?
I was on, I think we pulled it down to about 350-ish. Like
That's
my cycle, like I think the most we went was 500 tests, 600 masked, and then 150 trend. Like that was the lightest cycle, and that's why my bloods are so good as well. And that's why I found the longer I'm doing this, like I'm not trying to push the boat with cycles as much. Like even I compare that to the year before, I think the mass was up about 1.2, 1.3 grams, like, you know, kind of way and test. But like we will push it up now. I'm on 225 TRT is my dose. So we're back down to that now. And I'll probably get bloods on a couple of weeks. And I think I'm just gonna like try like 500 tests and maybe like actually go with EQ, not because there's a masteron shortage, but I like EQ for the fact that it gives you good appetite and it takes longer to fuck up your estrogen, which the last off season, Primo and Masteron, like bottom out my estrogen. I don't want that to happen again.
Yeah, together. Like, I mean, it's the availability of Master. I like Master because I know what it does. It's predictable. I haven't used EQ, or maybe used it once at the very start, but like this time we are. So it's 500 tests currently, and there's 400 EQ in there. Again,
Yeah,
it'll take a wee bit of time to sort of see the effect of that. But maybe it's placebo, but I very much do feel it. I mean, my weight jumped £6
yeah,
inside a week and a half. So
nice, yeah. So it's definitely.
thumbs happening. Do you know what I mean?
So you're using a pharmaceutical test again, or yeah?
Absolutely.
So you're about fucking 300 nanomole now, are you?
Anyway, Wardy was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, I fucking promise you, it is 250 tests. Like, so whatever way I've been converting, I think, as well, being slightly leaner as well, when you're coming out of them, your body's just converting that a little bit more. And no issues with estrogen either. From, there's nothing like that,
Yeah.
nothing with cycle there hasn't been. And it's usually something I'd have to be very much like aware of, like from like
Conscious of, yeah, I know, and that's
gynae,
why.
like feel like nipple sensitivity and stuff, or nothing like
Yeah,
that this year. So
but
I would
you never had to get gyno surgery or anything before, no?
It's something I considered probably 2 years ago because I was having issues every time I ran tests above 300. So that's the most I took it to was 300 bar this year, and I managed to take it to 500, and there was no
Yeah,
issues.
no issues. That's what I'm going to say. So you haven't got it done before, and I used to get my third fucking hernia surgery now to get that last bump taken off my belly button, and I just noticed like because the last surgery, I don't think he took out the full glands because he was like we might need to fill it, so we'll just see how we get on. But like I could see a little bit coming back now, so I'm just getting them both taken out now at the same time as well. So I'm probably going to do my push up now, and then when I go into a TRT phase, probably April, May before I get married, I'm gonna get that surgery done and get this belly button finally fucking sorted after a year of waiting. Because I don't think I talked about that before. I had 3 hernias at the end of last prep, and we could only fix 2 of them because if he tried to stitch the third one, and it would have just opened up all of it again. So he's like, right, we need to just get the bottom 2 first. You can come back in 6 months to a year, and then obviously I was like, I'm starting prep now, so I'll just leave it. It's not that noticeable. And it wasn't too bad, but it still throws off your physique, and it's the fine lines then of, especially when you're standing in like fucking the amateur Olympia in Milan, and there's guys that with the structure, and then your belly button's off. It's gonna knock you down as well, anyway.
You do them both, the surgeries, the hernia and the gyno, at the same time.
It's the same time, yeah,
Like, oh, that's good. At least
yeah,
from my standpoint, you can kind of blast through that then and get out of the way.
yeah. And like I know, even after the last time, I was back within the gym within 2 weeks. Then like did an easy week back, and then I was back nearly full tilt 3 or 4 weeks later. So it's not too bad.
Did you use peptides during that time, like in terms of recovery aspect of it?
Yeah, I used BBC TB500 and copper as well. GHKU, isn't it? Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny. I have a couple of girls competing next year, and they decided to get a breast surgery. At
Yeah.
that point, I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, because that can be pretty demanding, like 6 8 weeks. So I'm like, we need to load you
Yeah,
up.
that's a different story altogether. Yeah.
Oh man, like I was like, why can we not just wait till you're plenty big enough? Like,
I
just
know.
wait till after the break kind of thing.
It comes part and parcel now with these competitions now and that as well, doesn't it?
It really does. Like the whole look that they're going for. Like, I mean, yeah, it's a few people sort of saying about because they were sending me pictures from the PCA and Two Bros ones when it came to the bikini girls, and like the disparity in terms of the judging between. It's not something, to be honest with you, I follow that closely. Like, but some of the bikini girls are just getting more and more muscular, and then
Yeah.
you get the Two Bros, and sometimes they don't really necessarily want that. So it's been in the
No,
landscape of it.
no, I sure you can see there, Alan. I don't know if you follow Alan and Evishire, like she's been knocking at her door for a pro card, and the feedback even the last few shows is she's the best bikini physique up there, but she's still too hard to soften her up. Still got to so they're very close now, but it's like times are now, and I think she's probably burnt out now at this stage as well. But like the funny thing is, if she won and got a pro card, and there was a pro show that evening or the night before, she could walk into it, and any of the girls that are winning now would not be it, because like they're like saying, we don't want you to be a pro, we want you to be able to step away and come back as a pro. But like if you're a pro or you have the same condition as bikini pro athletes, why aren't you given the card and given the recognition to go and do that? Like it's mad. Like what way? And every year it's different. Then they'll change your mind, or you go to a different country, kind of way. It's crazy. And like it's not as simple as bodybuilding. Like that's the one easy thing for us. There's obviously politics sometimes, and there's things you can argue because it's still subjective, but it's a lot more night and day when You know what I mean? When it just should just
Massive and
judge
get
it.
credit.
Yeah, exactly. You can't deny that, like, you know, that kind of way.
And I thought, like, because I was talking to Denise Malone, obviously Brown Panda's girl, I was like,
Yeah,
saying, like, they want they're softer, and like even the mindset behind going, like, for me,
yeah.
it's so difficult to go, right, okay, I need to soften up this look
Oh,
that's fucking a
I
grand.
know, like you're in the end of a prep and you're nearly like starting to eat like off season again, and you're starting to nearly be a point where say we're at now, starting to hold water and shit, and you're like, it's a fucking would be a mind fuck, like, wouldn't it?
Look at your photos and go, well, this is the look. It'd be like,
Yeah,
I really, really would struggle to wrap my head around that. To be honest, when I'm taking clients to it, I'm just still trying to get them fair. Obviously, you're trying to play in line with the criteria, but a lot of the girls, they're not coming in. I can't, they're not coming in super, super hard, especially because some of them are first timers. But my goal is always just to get them lean as possible. And
yeah,
then you can go, right, okay, well, now we can go the other way with it. But
yeah,
yeah, it's a real difficult one for them. Like,
yeah. Any other crack with you otherwise anyway, no?
any other what?
Any other crack otherwise anyway? Yeah.
Definitely the social media stuff's been like coming on good. I've got a seminar over in Newcastle I was booked for, so I'm looking forward to doing that. It's like on contest prep. Obviously, I lived over there, so I'm looking forward. And that's next weekend. So the last few weeks it's been good because I found there in the past coming out of shows, like unless there was like wee projects, I've noticed that with myself. I need to be like working towards like something, So like Galway this week and then Newcastle. So having these things lined up, it's keeping my head in the sport, and it's just
Yeah,
like this year's been a mad year. I've talked about like personally, but like I feel like I've now like found my feet with everything and like where I
good,
need to
good,
be
yeah.
and where I want to be. So that's been good. You know, and then we talk a little bit about the predictions.
Yeah,
From
we will. I'm even looking back and I was like, my head was up my arse. I
yeah,
nearly
right.
forgot
You did that. I got the
I
right
forgot
time.
I forgot about Martin Fitz nearly completely, and then I kind of tried to play it off. Oh yeah, Martin, and then I'm like, but sure, he was fucking unbelievable, wasn't he?
Yeah, especially when you see the actual like the Galto. Or I'm not sure if it's Galto, but the photos. You're like,
Ah man.
so
Cooper, yeah.
so
Did you watch the show day video for Prague? It was only dropped there last night.
yeah.
Ah man, like it's like a fucking like a proper movie, like the way the production's done. It's crazy. And I love how obviously Martin got a lot of hate in the future because he had a bit of a immature kind of attitude, but you can see really now he's starting to grow and believe in himself, and he should, but like it's really cool the way it's all been captured by your man Cooper as well, and it's fucking
Yeah.
really good
I
to
think people
watch.
should appreciate the production value in it or
Oh,
doing stuff like that.
it's a bit better than my vlogs anyway, that's for
I
sure.
mean, I got this phone case. It keeps going like that. And
Yeah.
it's on it still. I was like, take that off. I fucking keep my wallet in it. The Do you think he was better there than the Olympia?
Oh, definitely.
How would he have
Definitely.
placed at the Olympia? Do you think it would have improved the place, or do you think still, that kind of fourth spot? Yeah, well,
No, I think like because if he was like if well, are we saying that Samson was still the Samson at Olympia, or are you saying
Samson. Well, yeah, Samson. Olympia. He's beaten him because he beat. I mean, Samson to me
yeah,
seems improved.
and Samson got better, like so that's saying to me he should have been third. And then also if he looked that good, because if you look back, he never, and that's obviously what he was kind of half pissed off about, is he never really got compared with, he never got moved around with Andrew and that. But I don't think he would have beaten Andrew Jack, because I think Andrew Jack made such a trajectory this year that like so he would have taken Samson definitely.
Yeah,
And you could argue if you take Andrew Jack away and put him beside Hardy and Derek, it just shakes things up completely because they're all different physiques, and he's 100% right in what he's saying that like he can beat any of them on a given day, like kind of way. So
yeah, I agree. No, like,
um,
I mean, Crezo, you did call him to be good, and he was excellent. Like,
yeah, and that was a bit of a stupid call, but I knew he was going to be good and up there, and obviously I knew he had the size to beat Keon. Kind of obviously when you see Keon on Instagram and his mad videos about it, like he is phenomenal, but like these guys are fucking 50, 60 pounds bigger, like and like even though Hardy's not that heavy either, is Martin, but they look like they're bigger. Like Martin's only 235 or something, and he's like the biggest quads on the Olympia stage, nearly, like you know what I mean. And his rec, you see how big his rec fucking fems are,
right up into that, just goes boom,
right?
the top.
Boom, and they're like the V is that thick, and the serrations on it are fucking crazy. Like you know what I mean. Some people's rec fem are very small and narrow, like you're kind of looking. How is this lad only 235 pounds? Like
I mean, the level of condition he brought, we talk about the 90s conditioning, all this keeper, like, I mean, that it looked bright. I mean, I think it shocked a lot of people, Keon in that lineup. Like,
yeah,
I think it wasn't an overly a surprise to me, albeit he looks absolutely phenomenal when he's by himself. But it it was very, very clear. And I think I look and go, maybe you just stay 2-1-2. Not to say you can't put the size on, but just the structure and height of him is always going to be a massive uphill battle. It's like, boys standing beside you, like,
Yeah,
it's very, very hard to beat that when somebody's fucking colossal.
yeah. But I still think, like, overall, if you look at, like you say, if you look at Keon standing by himself, he's definitely got one of the best physiques in the
Yeah.
world. Like, no doubt about it. But like, yeah, when you're talking about open bodybuilding, and when you go to that level, like it is about size and freaks as well. That is like, and that's where you see your man Juan Paredes from Spain, who's going to be fucking unbelievable in a few years. Like, he's not. If you look at Martin Shaw video as well, he makes him look like a guest posing from the back.
Yeah.
Even Samson does as well. His glutes are like properly. There's nothing like
But
this.
I like,
Hamstrings are smooth, no line. But then when you just see him and his proportions, like, he's like a bigger version of Keon,
yeah.
and like the bubbliness in his legs and quads is like, holy fuck.
So round ties into a nice small waist as well. But as you say,
Yeah,
I always go like, how, like, I don't know. When the coach is seeing it, I'm going, surely we could get them in tighter than that. Albeit, I know he's 20, 25, 26.
yeah, and that's why he was just going. I think it's a time thing. I think he's going to be competing in Romania this weekend, and I think it is a battle because also if you look at the amount of size, and I think I can kind of some way relate to this because I've jumped up a lot of body weight between 20 kilos of stage weight and like 18 months before, and like there's no way you're going to put on 20 kilos of tissue and get that same conditioning. If you want to be in condition, you're going to have to sacrifice like half of that nearly, and then you're not going to have the same roundness or fullness. You're going to lose some of that. So I think he's just after growing so quickly that he just needs more time to mature. And I think even now, jumping from show to show, as long as he doesn't get burnt out and tired, I think he's going to even be better now again this weekend against Andrew Jack. But like, obviously Andrew Jack should be able to walk this if he's anywhere looking like the Olympia. Like,
I mean, even if he's not, like with Andrew, because you've seen it even with that, was it the Texas one? He was against Sass. Although
yeah,
obviously Sass had won one of the, I think the pre-judging against him.
yeah.
He's just so imposing. Such a,
So empowering. Like,
it is even beatable unless like it's a top 10 Olympian coming in there. It's
I know. But if
well,
you actually look back, it's funny you say that because I think it was on the podcast with Milos and Dennis James, but it's mad. Sass ended up 16th place and he was conditioned and great. And then Andrew Jack was third. So it just actually shows, like, given that the show previous that both of them nearly done was that show. And like Sass was beating Andrew Jack, even though, yes, he was a bit softer. But like, if someone comes in off, like, it just shows how mad that lineup in the Olympia is now. Like that, like anyone can jump, anyone really. Like, you know what I mean?
I think it's the most like it's the most competitive time as a
Yeah,
but you can't really pick and choose. Like, I mean, it'll be interesting to see who goes in to these Arnold America and come
yeah.
in March time because it's like some people have said nah, like it's not worth it for them. I don't know if Derek's going to do it. There's talk about him doing it as well. It's like that is a long prep. Like for anybody, especially when you say you're that size as well.
100%, yeah. And I just like Derek's kind of what 3 from 3 now with Pittsburgh. Arnold, and does he really need to do it? If I was Derek, I wouldn't be bothered my arse. Like, but it is a big thing now that they're all talking about is doing what they did in the 90s and doing loads more shows. And like realistically, Derek doesn't need to get any bigger. If anything, he probably needs to get more detail in his physique again to make sure that when he is this full, that the detail is there. Like, he's getting more like Paddy's greatness because then Derek's fucking unbeatable. So maybe it is a good thing that he doesn't need to push up his body weight. Just takes a bit of time off, with food and gear for the month, and then just go into a prep. You know what I mean? So it's good though. It's like bodybuilding is so fucking exciting now at the minute. And then you're looking at these European shows, and obviously we're seeing now the numbers of pro cards being given out because you're looking at like I don't know, you don't even know half the lineups now at these shows.
What's your thoughts on the pro card sort of situation? Because there is, like, obviously at that time, back in the UK, maybe did you say 10 years ago, it was like
Yeah.
UKGFF, one pro card per year, like exceptional talent pool, people missing out on it, but it was that like, bespoke. What's your thoughts in terms of like the pro card situation? Like,
The cream still rises to the top anyway. That's my opinion. And then it's kind of like it's kind of exciting now. Even if you're looking at this Romania, okay, you can predict the top 3 or 4 very easy, but some freak just comes out of nowhere, like that guy at the Tsunami Pro in France, there, the Russian guy. You know what I mean? Obviously, he is a freak, and I think he is definitely going to be like top 7 or 8 nearly at Olympia next year if he comes in condition because he's a monster. But there's a lot of guys now that are coming out of nowhere that are kind of surprising. It's making it interesting, I think, from that end of things. You know what I mean? And it doesn't matter because the way they have got it structured now, only the best of the best going to Olympia. So it'd be different if all these guys were competing throughout the year because then they'd be coming over to Europe here and you'd be getting to see, you know, the top 10 at Olympia competing against each other. But most of them, you don't see them actually compete against each other until Olympia. So there'd be no one at these shows, the pros. So I think it's a good thing, like, you know what I mean? And like, obviously from a business standpoint, that's why they're doing it, like to for revenue and everything. But it's just growing the sport more, and it doesn't matter if you're the best, you're going to still be the best. So I just think it's doesn't make any difference to me. Like I think I can understand why it pisses off the likes of these, like Lee Priest that he was talking about it on that, like because you know it's taken a little bit of the merit out of it, but at the end of the day, like them guys still went to a pro qualifier. They still showed up. They did everything. They were competing who were competing against. So like, you know, you can't take that away from them.
You know, I don't really. I know what they say. It takes a little bit of the steam off winning the pro card, but it's still exceptionally hard to get. And then you have to go into the big tank and compete against these guys as well. Like
100%.
I think Ireland looking at it this year as well. You know, because I think it's something we're worth doing is a little bit of a review of the Irish season, maybe some standout people as well as the end of the year. Like I like the idea of doing a little bit of a bodybuilding awards sort of thing as well.
Yeah, that'd be good actually. Yeah.
Brings recognition to athletes as well, and kind of we can sort of talk about some of the top performers, top male, female coaches, and that side of things.
Probably we can maybe get them on then, maybe or that as well, one or two for you know what I mean. Yeah.
But looking at it there, I think there's quite an abundance of pro cards, likely pro cards potentially next year coming through from the Irish scene. Obviously, Ross set the tone this year with winning the IFBB Pro card. Like it must be. Is he the? I believe it might be the first male to open.
First male open, definitely. Like obviously, yeah. Because I'm trying to think in the last while, like Risty, Shane Cullen, Vinnie Crane, they're all classic. Yeah, so he's going to be the first. He's the first open male bodybuilder from Ireland. Like, yeah.
Who's next?
Who's next? Well, in my opinion, Ben Gardner's next.
Yes. I've seen he's not a bit, he's not like me, he's no updates every day.
But... Yeah, I chat to Ben every now and again now, to be fair. We keep in touch, and another man I need to link up with. And he works with Dan Bastic in the UK, who I know well as well, and he's a very good coach. But Ben is probably one of the most locked in guys, and structurally he is very well put together. He's not put together, like your typical Irish person. He's got a lovely, and his front relaxed. Like that's the first. It's probably one of my worst poses, and that's why I'm going to see if I can help these shoulders and get these lats flaring more. But that's the first fucking pose the judges see you at. So if you look shit in that pose, you can guarantee you the eyes are gone off you straight away.
Yeah.
And all you have to do is you can tell if a good bodybuilder when they're standing there in a front leg shot, they look good, and like his chest is fucking hanging off him, his lats are hanging off him, and like he's deceivingly because he's 240, like and he's short, but like he's a big boy, like you know what I mean. There's a lot of density there, and he was unfortunate not to be able to compete this year. And I think I said to him, as much as it could have happened this year and it could have done well. It said you're only going to get better now, and it's definitely going to happen next year. I feel like so. To me, he's the next one.
I'd agree. That's the sort of person I've been looking at. I've seen like he was meant to be doing the PCA in Ireland. He'd been in my class. So been a fun one. Like, but I know. He to me, he's the next one, and then there's quite an abundance of females. I feel like they're moving through the ranks as well now.
Yeah, and obviously I don't know before we move on to these because I don't really know too much about females, but I don't know if you know much about Rory O'Donnell as well. But unfortunately for him, he had a nerve issue and he's had a bit of atrophy on one side of his body, and so he's been battling a few things now. It's hard to know if he's going to bounce back, but again, there's another man who literally is very balanced, and I mean, like I seen him. I was like, he made me look like a guest poser. I got a cool picture with him backstage at Sweden last year. He was so close to winning the heavyweights at the Gas Classic in September 24 in Sweden, and I think the guy who won. Yeah, the guy who won his class, I think, won the overall. And I actually had Rory beating him when they first came out, but I think Rory had a few issues that week and then ended up, I think, sweating a little bit as well that day. But like he was so close to even that day win this pro card. Like, so if he can get back to where he is, he's my two. Him and Ben are probably the ones I can see. I don't really know if is there anyone else you can think of there that we're missing that we're standing out to.
It's not screaming out to me. I seen Rory compete at PCA this time last year against
Yeah.
and he probably just wasn't quite as on. But I mean, it must have been like a 1 point decision, really. You know.
Yeah, and you see, I don't know if you noticed, he tore his bicep just before going on stage, like backstage at that show.
Rory did.
Yeah, and that's where, because he's having a nerve issue, and if you notice, like, because I didn't realize, because I was over this side and I was only seeing his good arm, but then he showed me pictures after, and you could see the bicep moved up, and there was a trophy already kicking in. Well, obviously, like, because he was running show to show, he didn't really realize, and then he saw his fucking had so many complications. But yeah, there was very little in it that day.
I will hopefully he bounces back. It was tight, like so it was.
Yeah, and he was only about 70-80% of what he was about 3 weeks ago at Sweden as well. Like, you know what I mean, at that PCA show.
That was a proper class two lineup. You know, I mean,
Yeah.
Bill Abram was meant to do that, and he never went to it. But like that was a pretty big lineup. So hopefully I would love to see the same again in the class twos, because usually that is like an absolutely stacked class of people.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, in terms of like that's who I see as the main sort of front runners for it. Like at the minute, I think there's quite a lot of good talent coming through. Like I think the younger ones really are absolutely shooting up. You know, they really
I
are.
know. Wouldn't you love to be that age now, starting off again or back in school and just knowing to start eating chicken and rice and training a little bit then? You know what I mean? It's just like, that's the one thing. And you're going to see now, guys, obviously, it all comes down to their mentality and that as well, because we all know there's freaks out there, but they can't stick to a diet for a fucking day, never mind the fucking 6 months.
No.
But like, yeah, if you get a good young lad now who's locked in and does things right and is getting good guidance and not fucking trashing himself for PEDs and keeping himself healthy, like, yeah, by the time, 10 years time, there's going to be some good pros coming out of Ireland that are like, late 20s, I would say, no doubt about it.
I'd love to see it. I really would. I think that's why like part of this and like talking about it as well gives people that exposure. Conor, I know you're wanting to need away for 12:40 because again, you've got that real job to be doing.
Yeah, no, you're grand there till about 12:45 anyway, yeah.
So I'll just mention some of the females because I always feel like, but it is because it's more interesting. Obviously, we're males bodybuilding themselves, but it's like fucking bikini. What? I know, like obviously had Denise Malone on as well.
Yeah.
Like she's kind of, I think she'd had to not do the Denmark show with mosquito bites. So she's kind of on the verge of it. I know Jill Wade. She's probably competing in Ireland this weekend. Like, I feel like she's probably in the next one for the women's physique athletes as well, and even Rachel Dunn there. Like, there's quite a few, and then there's quite a few bikini girls as well. That I feel, but it's such an open pot with that bikini. Like it said, is that it's hard to like nail it and get it. Sometimes I wouldn't say it's luck, but like it's just landing the right show at the right time.
Right time, yeah. Look, and as I said, Eva's walking proof of that. Like, and to me, she should have been pro probably 4 years ago, but it's just been unfortunate, and it's fucking killing Alan altogether. But I know they'll get it eventually, and they'll make it all sweeter when they get it.
So that is like, and I hear talk of like another couple of big shows coming to Ireland next year.
Yeah.
Well, which will be quite exciting in terms of trying to put the best Irish bodybuilders on a stage together with a little bit of prize money as well coming into it. So
right, is that something? This is not related to muscle contest, PCA, then, or anything? No.
No, so it's not something I can touch on much more, but that is in the pipeline. From people I've talked to next year with some prize money as well.
Very good
athletes. So I think that could be something that, when it's advertised, could be something that brings a lot of people together to, give it a go. Because I think having people like the old days, so I ain't fucking there in the old days. But like,
we're getting old now. You're saying that.
I know. You work with these young ones, you're like, I'm their dad now. Putting out the best of the best on stage together. That's what I'd love to see, and it's then you can kind of sort it out, because
100%.
There's that much talk about who's the best.
And I suppose actually I kind of left them out there as well, because someone I will touch on is, I don't know if you know much about Christian McAlinden though as well, because I didn't really mention him there, but like, to me, he wouldn't have a Miss Ireland 2018, I think, but he took a step away for a long time, and that was family, kids. But if you see Alan's recent post of Christian, he's eating like 11 or 1,200 grams of carbs, and he looks about 5 weeks out. And I mean, he's about 5'8", crazy roundness, and yeah, I think he's going to be competing at the muscle contest in Dublin next year in April. So I think if everything stays aligned, because he was iffy about competing or not, but if he competes again, he has the potential to be a pro as well. So yeah, keep an eye out for him too.
And you'll be waiting the year. You're taking next year off.
Yeah, and for me, I'm trying not to put too much pressure on myself. Like, to me, I would like to finish my bodybuilding career with, a top three as a super heavyweight in a decent class of 10 lads. I would take that all day long, more than anything. But like, I'm also not forgetting how much I bounced back after this accident. And I'm like, if I can just keep making progress, get these legs up, who knows what can happen. So yeah, I'm literally just eating and training for the next 18 months. I would like to do, potentially, if I know it's going to be my last season, we'll probably try and line up doing the Amateur Olympia in Vegas, and actually going to the Olympia, I think would be pretty fucking cool. And then maybe doing a show or two after, like doing like then going with like Martin Fitzwater, maybe going to Prague or something like that, kind of way. So
You enjoyed the like, albeit the stress of it. You enjoyed traveling about. Like I know you enjoyed.
yeah, and I exactly. I just think with the way my life was at work and everything that's going on here, it wasn't really the perfect time for that to be landing. And I've done that before. I've traveled, and like the Milan trip was fucking unbelievable. I love that, because that's what even Alan, we were sitting backstage after England, and like he knew how burnt out I was, and it's nearly to a point where obviously he wanted me to compete at that show, but he nearly could have said, you know what, Connor, we shouldn't be doing this, but everything was kind of sorted and we were there. But like, when you look back, as much as like obviously the wins and the pro cards, but when you look back and like we're talking to our fucking grandkids, or you're talking to, if you're running a podcast in 15, 20 years time and you're talking to guys, you're going to be telling about the stories. Do you remember that backstage, or remember we went out for food that night and something?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the memories. You know what I mean? And that's why I was looking back. I think I've said it before. It's kind of like I can go to Prague and compete and fucking record it and have to do the same as what Martin Fitzwater's doing. Well, I'm not obviously, winning and doing what he's doing, but you're still doing it and living it. And that's what bodybuilding's about, is networking. So like, we only met this year and got chatting properly because of prep. I've met two German guys now, one this year and one the year before. One at the Dennis James Classic, Jakob, fucking 150 kilos now at the minute, his off season. He's 24. Robin as well. He was a bit tired and fatigued. He didn't do well in England or Poland. He bounced back a little bit Poland, but he was 160 kilos in his off season. And I mean, when I seen him strip off for his tan, his legs were like Chrysos, but I could see his upper body was a bit tired and flat. But like there's some freaks out there. And now I'm fucking chatting to now they ended up knowing each other and didn't realize that I knew both of them. And now we're potentially going to meet up in Germany in New Year and go train and stuff like. So that's what the traveling does, like, you know what I mean? And just with between sponsorships and just living it, like. And I'm kind of saying, like, I don't want this to end yet. I'm enjoying it, and if I can still progress, then I'm going to compete again. And if I've made enough improvements, 100%, that kind of way. So we're all
even the ESN and the gas sponsorships and that.
that's what I mean, man. Like, and it's all from just putting, like, people like, when I get messages sometimes, how did you get a sponsorship? It's just from putting yourself out there. Like, after the accident, I said, like, I still posted a bit in Instagram, but I was that person that would, delete Instagram the last 10 weeks of prep and then just, throw up a picture the day before kind of thing. And it's like, yeah, that's all well and good. But if you want to inspire people, you want to show people what you're doing. And also, nowadays, if you want to fucking make a few pound and, make a living of it. And like, that's what now I'm getting the opportunity, is like, I get all my supplements free every month. Like, I'm saving myself a fortune at end, and I'm getting to use fucking quality products. I'm in group chats there chatting to James Hollingshead and Reese Mack. If I didn't push myself out there, I wouldn't be there. So I think, like, if you don't live it, you'll end up looking back and regretting it. And I think, like, the more promotion, even what you're doing now and that as well, it's great, because who else is going to do it? And if it's not someone else is going to reap the reward. So let's just go for it. If it fails or doesn't happen, wouldn't you rather that you tried and than not tried at all? Like, kind of way.
Nah, you gotta knock the doors down a little bit. You know what I mean? You
You
can't just
do,
on them
you
like, and
do,
that's the thing. Then it's fun too. But listen, Connor, I'll let you shoot on because it's work time. Let
100%.
you shoot on, you're shooting on. But put up again in a week or two's time as well, and hopefully get that wee catch up as well and get a training session in. I'll try
Yeah.
and
So before we
sessions.
go, Andrew Jack winning. We're in it. Yeah.
Aye, Andre Jack, and then Juan's got to be second.
Juan,
Third.
who's third? Jan Turik's in there, and that Damien Cuffel guy. But is there anyone half decent in third place?
To be honest with you, that's the height of it. Obviously, Reece McDonald, he's over there competing with.
Reece McDonald, I think he should move up a few places now, but there's so many other European freaks there. There's that guy who's moved from classic to open as well, and you should
Like
see the
Galway.
detail. Andre Hurst, I think as well. He looks
Yeah.
fucking so yeah. But I think predictions wise, and obviously then I have a holiday, another holiday, 4-day holiday in Gran Canaria in 2 weeks